All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the FearFans podcast. I'm your host, Don Elmy, and with me is Jill Jade, and I'm happy to announce that she is going to be a new co-host on FearFans podcast. And Nick should be joining us. Nick should be joining us on here shortly. He just has a bit of a delay going on, yeah. So Jill, thank you. We're glad to have you as a co-host on here.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. I'm excited.
Oh, no problem. Yes. Yeah. Well, me and Nick have enjoyed having you on here. So we decided to, since you've been so much fun on this podcast, we decided to have you as a co-host.
Yay, I'm excited too.
Yep. And
I love the horror. I love your podcast and horror. I mean, I'm surprised when people aren't horror fans. I'm like, I don't know if we could be friends. No, just kidding. It's a deal breaker. So I'm glad I found, people, like-minded people, and anybody that's like-minded as us will definitely be catching your FearFans podcast.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoy this. Okay. Oh, here. Let me get started in the comments. Hey, Mr. Nice Guy, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm doing well. Just been spending a while taking the Christmas decorations down. Sad reminder that the holidays are over, but looking forward to the rest of this year. Hey, DJ Evan C, thank you for joining. Oh, Sarah is asking, where's Nick? Nick has been delayed on here. He'll be joining us soon. I don't know what all the details yet, but he'll join us when he can. There, let's get this party started. Yes, let's. All American Wrestling Show says hi, hello, thank you for joining.
Hi.
I love the old Nightmare on Elm Street better. Yes, and that's exactly what we are talking about tonight. We are talking about the classic 80s slasher film Nightmare on Elm Street. And this is this film, like historical, really like one of the greatest slasher films of all time. It's one of my favorite horror films. And it introduces one of the most iconic villains in horror history, Freddy Krueger.
Oh my gosh. I can't even, I'm already stuttering because that's how much he's affected my whole childhood. So let's get it started.
Oh, yes. Let's see.
The tree ate him.
Oh, maybe. We'll find out. Do not like the remake as much. Oh, yes. There's been a lot of people that dislike the remake. I mean, for me, the remake is just okay. I mean, Jackie Earle Haley was not the best Freddy Krueger, but he did play a much more serious and, had realistic burns on him, but still does not par with Robert Englund's performance as Freddy.
Nope. To me, even if there are other, how they do Batman, they have other different actors for role playing for Batman's role in the movies, and we all have our favorites usually, but I would agree with you when it comes to Freddy, it's got to be Robert Englund for me, because I just can't picture really anybody else giving me as many nightmares as he has.
Yeah. And because that's the problem, is that when people are so used to seeing Robert Englund, he stepped down from playing Freddy in 2003, in movies anyway. He did a few cameos in certain TV shows, but because he felt like he was getting too old for the role, going in and out of that makeup and whatnot. But so 2003 after Freddy versus Jason, but then expectations were at an all-time high to have a new actor, do it just as good as Robert Englund, and Jackie Earle Haley playing the role. It's like Jackie Earle Haley, great actor, but not the best Freddy.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, here. How much sleep did you lose after seeing that movie?
So much. I try not to fall asleep.
Yeah. Oh, what is your favorite horror movie? For me, it is Alien. Nothing beats Alien for me.
That's a tough one for me. I love Alien as well, the first one especially, but I almost want to say it's a cross between Nightmare on Elm Street series and Texas Chainsaw.
Those are great ones. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is another classic I love. 10 years before this film. Yeah, I mean, 1984, like I've said before in the podcast, 1984 was a huge, huge year for cinema, because that's where a lot of classics were released. Aside from this, there was The Terminator, there was Gremlins, let's see, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Oh, so
and also the first PG-13 rated film, Red Dawn.
Red Dawn. Oh, I just watched that like maybe a couple months ago. And yeah, you forget how good some of these 80s classics were until you rewatch it again. And you're like, you start to have more of an appreciation when you rewatch them again, even though you have seen them maybe even many times before in the past. But it's always nice to rekindle the classics, you know.
Oh yes, for sure. Oh, here, Pat Quinn. He's saying Elm Street and Northwest Highway scares me every time I pass it down. Oh yeah, I guess you don't know Pat Quinn. He is my oldest friend.
Oh,
I've known him since pre-K, 4 years old. We've been friends ever since.
hi Pat.
Yeah, 26 years. Great guy, great man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and yeah. So yeah, like I said, yeah. When this one of the biggest horror classics as far as so the slasher genre. I mean, this was going on at the time when in the 80s when slashers were at an all-time high. I mean, we've had ever since Halloween in 1978, everybody
Mhm.
wanted to recreate, and just keep that slasher craze going. We've had the Friday the 13th franchise, which went on throughout the 80s. Let's
Mhm.
see. We've had like Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequels. Though those like
Mhm.
were going. Uh, Man, there's like tons of examples.
So many.
Oh yeah,
It was a
Sleepaway
good
Camp.
time. It was a good time for slasher films, just being really predominant.
Oh yeah, Sleepaway Camp. That was another one. Yeah, and looking at the history of Freddy Krueger, I really pitied him. Um, yeah, though like Freddy Krueger's life was like from the very beginning it was messed up because you did you know about oh Friday the 13th Friday this Friday? Yes, that's right,
Yes,
Pat.
it is.
Yes, exactly right. Man, like yeah, people were saying maybe I should have covered like Friday the 13th. Well, we kind of did that already in the previous episode. I'm thinking about starting it up again, only this time like cover each film like on the different episodes.
Right, that's a great idea because each one, even the remake, sometimes it throws off from the original, first, version, and sometimes it just kinda goes off in its own storyline, so it's really a good idea just to do separate ones.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, Freddy Krueger from the very beginning, he had a troubled life. Because yeah, like you've seen like the later sequels where it explains that Freddy, like his mother was actually a nun that
Mhm,
was working at a mental asylum. She was accidentally locked in there like during holiday season, and then the inmates in that mental asylum, just brutalized her, forced themselves and when they just finally discover when everybody else on the staff finally discovered that she was there. By the time they found her, she had been beaten, like barely clinging to life, and also she was pregnant. So,
mhm,
with what would become the one of the most notorious names in horror, Freddy Krueger. So, Freddy is, like they said, the bastard son of 100 maniacs.
mhm,
So, yeah, that was messed up. But then Freddy grew up to become a child murderer, and then was finally captured, but then was released due to like this technicality. Like someone apparently wasn't didn't sign a search warrant properly, and he was just let go like that.
mhm.
Oh man, if that actually happened in real life, someone actually like a serial killer actually being released like that, oh man, like there would be an uproar for real. Like
It would have a different outcome today.
oh yeah, but apparently in this film series, he it didn't go well for the outraged parents. They gathered up as like an angry mob, tracked him down to the boiler room where he killed like all those kids and just trapped him in there and burned him to death. And see, that's why Freddy is invading dreams and killing people in the dreams. He wants revenge on the mob of parents that killed him by taking the lives of their children.
Yeah, in a way, it's like that idea where, I mean, he's supposed to be dead in body, but in spirit, he is far from dead. So then that's how he's entering. That's like the synopsis of the movie is he's entering through your nightmares to become real, to become reality.
Uh, that's true. Yeah, he can manipulate dreams, like basically anything that he does in the dreams of his victims, like have an effect on reality. And there's been a lot of inspiration by that as far as when Wes Craven wrote Nightmare on Elm Street. I watched Nightmare on Elm Street alone every single time. So do I.
Mhm. Same, well, I wouldn't say same here. It's pretty much anyone that can handle it.
Well, yeah. I mean, two of my ex-girlfriends, they were able to handle this film. I mean,
Mhm.
it's like, sure, shocking as it is, they loved horror. So
Mhm.
let's see, billion views as well. That genetic expedition, he really didn't have a chance. Yeah,
Right.
right, that's one way of putting it. And I wanted to mention that this. You know how they say that art imitates life? This film actually is an example of that. Of course, there's no dream invading serial killer spirit, by of course, but yeah, when Wes Craven wrote Nightmare on Elm Street back in like the late '70s, he was hugely inspired by two different things in his life. This one incident when he was a kid, he saw this man who was like outside of his apartment, who was like was just staring at him and glaring at him. It scared the hell out of him to the point
Mhm.
where Wes had to get his brother, and the brother got the bat to go out and confront the guy, saying, "Hey, what is your problem?" But then the guy just disappeared, and this guy was wearing a fedora,
Huh.
and that's what inspired him to. Oh, hey,
And so
What's
hi,
up,
hey,
Nick.
guys? Sorry I'm late.
You made it. I was
Uh,
I was starting to worry. I
yeah,
didn't get a text message, so I was like, I hope he's okay.
yeah, we kind of had a bit of a catastrophe last night, and I'm still trying to clean it up. Um, I'm still I'm really still mad at myself for this. Part of Don, I know you've been to my house several times, but part of our basement not necessarily got flooded, but we got water in it.
That's what
oh,
I was thinking. I was like, oh my gosh, there was a flood, huh? Because we have flooding here. And I wanted you to finish saying what you're saying, but I don't know if Dawn's aware, but Nick's aware that I start to get images before while someone's talking of what's happening in their what
oh,
your
Yeah,
conversation when he's saying so the flooding, the water. I saw water. It was in your basement. Was it in your basement?
it was in our basement. That's actually why you see a different look of
Okay.
the basement now. I had to move everything, including my
yep,
desk.
oh,
So what happened was that I was taking Jill, as you and I were talking about, once the clock started midnight, as I said, I started taking down my Christmas stuff,
After
and
the
yeah,
9th.
throughout the night, and the we have the Don. You remember we have those lights in the backyard? You know
yeah,
the lights I'm talking about.
mm-hmm,
So I had to go outside and I had to switch them up because they were still Christmas theme. I was turning them back to their normal colors, and I mean, it sounds unrelated first, but I'll get right to it. And after I was done, as I walked into the house, I realized there was something underneath my shoes, and I looked, and turned out I had both mud and some dog shit on my on my shoes, of course. So I thought, oh geez. So I thought, okay, well I'll just grab the hose, wash it down, and when I it just seemed like it was just like a buildup for disaster. So then when I turned on the hose, for some reason a lot of the water wasn't coming out, and then as I first I thought, okay, well maybe it's maybe just part of the hose is bent because like when you bend a part of a hose, sometimes not all the water shows up. So the I pulled it more, and it turned out part of our hose was broken. So
oh,
I then ran back into the house and I grabbed some duct tape because I've always seen some people use tape to at least keep them fixed for the time being. It helped out a little bit, but it took me well over a good 10 minutes to wash my shoes down. But what I didn't realize what was going on downstairs, I didn't even see it coming. And as soon as I was done, I was done taking down the stuff upstairs. I was ready to, work my way downstairs with the stuff, with all the lights and stuff like that. And I started hearing this dripping sound. And it sounded like one of my cats licking at first. But then I found out it was actually water dripping down from one of the walls. And the entire here, I can even turn it for you guys. I mean, you won't be able to really see it, but this entire corner was soaked. The video game area, Don.
oh man,
So
Oh
that's
no.
why you're hearing that's why you guys can probably hear it, the fans running right now.
I see.
Did you take down
So
the lights beforehand so you didn't get electric?
they were still up because I had not worked on the basement yet.
Oh no.
So and I freaked out, and of course, I didn't want to tell my parents, but I had no choice. They were sleeping. However, it was like 1:30 in the morning, but I didn't have a choice. I ran up the stairs and I told them that I have a problem here, guys. And I explained the whole thing. I said, it was an accident. I swear. Of course, unfortunately, they said there was not much that, any of us could do. They said, we'll just have to try to figure this out in the morning. It's just water. It's clean water. It's not.
Yeah. It's not flood water coming in from the debris from outside. Thank God for that.
So what it turned out, what happened was when I turned on the hose, and this is what I didn't see, was, and I'm never making a mistake like this again. I think part of the water was frozen, but some of the water that was not frozen, it couldn't escape, and it was not just because of the hose that was broken. It was just there was no way for the water to get on its usual path. And it backfired somehow. And it looked like, from what I saw, was that part of our window kind of seeped this water through. And that's when it got completely soaked.
Oh, man.
So,
well,
and the lights, too, like you were saying, Jill, it's like, I didn't
That's the scary part. I was like, electrocution. You got to be careful with water and electricals.
The lights, they were still plugged in. The lights were still on. And I really didn't want to do it, but it's like, I thought, well, you got to do it. So I immediately, I immediately ran to that corner. I should have worn. Well, no, I couldn't have worn my shoes because they were soaked. So I just ran over there. I immediately unplugged them. And when it comes to taking down decorations, it would have taken maybe 2 hours to get everything down. I ended up staying up till about 3 o'clock in the morning. And even when I was done, I was so drained and exhausted because I was running around. And even before I could even go back, go upstairs to go to sleep, I sat down for another 15, 20 minutes just to catch my breath. It was a disaster. So we got the fans running right now. We got one of those vacuums. We're working as quick as we can to get this fixed, but I'm still mad at myself for it.
Yeah, it seems like I jinxed you. Like Sarah said, we talked about that. We talked about this happening at my house, but my basement's dingy and scary and dirt on the floor, but someone had left the water hose outside on, and it flooded the whole inside basement. We didn't know for like at least a day the next day, so at least you were able to get to it right away.
I am not. I am never doing this again, because it's like at least not during the winter, because I just did not see the warning signs.
Yeah, so oh man, I'll hope that all clears up soon, Nick.
Don, I'm just gonna say this. I mean, I know I said that we were going to be doing something like this weekend with others. I'm just gonna say this now, but so glad it wasn't something video game related, because I would have had to cancel it.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, so
Freddie was no match for Jason, and that's a fact. Okay, I just saw you post
Yeah, so as you know, Nick, tonight the topic is Nightmare on Elm Street, the original 1984 classic. And right now, let's see. DJ Evan C says Freddy was no match for Jason, and that is a fact. Several people were asking.
Hi, Billy.
Yeah, and several people were asking you where you were.
Well, I hope hopefully I was able to answer that question. Yeah, like I said, we kind of had a flooding issue, which we're working as fast as we can to get it fixed. I mean, it's going to take a few days for everything to dry up. Of course, we're also trying to prevent any mold from forming.
Right. Let's see. Oh, here. Billy is saying this movie Nightmare on Elm Street is before Freddy went all campy. Yeah, he kind of did in the sequels.
Yeah, it was.
So let's see. I would disagree with that. Freddy was a formidable opponent. Oh yeah, he's disagreeing. Yeah, he's disagreeing with what DJ Evans is saying.
Adam Heft. Oh, sorry, no,
Adam.
Adam Heft TV's on. Good to see you, Adam.
Hey, Adam.
Hey, every town has an Elm Street.
Yes, we have one too.
So do we. And So he basically Jeremy was disagreeing with DJ Evan C, saying that Freddy was no match for Jason, but Jeremy is saying that he disagrees with that. Freddy was a formidable opponent.
I'm laughing at
What's up,
Tom's.
Tom?
I'm laughing at Tom's message. It sounds like Nightmare on Nick Street.
Yeah, it's it kind of was a night. Well, what we're going
It's a
through
night-
is definitely like a nightmare.
Nightmare Night.
Yeah. So
There is that
as we know,
song
this
called
stuff.
"Nightmare on My Street" by Will Smith.
Yeah. So Nick, so this was written and directed by Wes Craven, released in let's see, I think it was November in 1984. So they had just missed Halloween, which would have been a good time for this film to be released.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. And this was also a feature film debut for 21-year-old Johnny Depp.
Take my heart, Johnny.
It's this. There's a great documentary about how this was a very open homosexual Nightmare on Elm Street on Shudder. That's
Shudder. I'm like,
yeah.
what is Dinner? I don't know that one.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Shudder.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he's actually referring to Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, like, where that had a lot of homosexual overtones. But and but we're mostly for this video we're covering like the original film. But and like I said, it features the debut of 21-year-old Johnny Depp. And in fact, I'm going to pull up a picture here.
Please do.
Yes.
Guys, I may not be able to hear you guys so well because we got the fan. So if you guys hear me, if I say, can you repeat it for me again? It's because I can't hear it too well.
I'm going to mute myself 1 second so I can scream.
Yep.
Joe.
So, 21-year-old Johnny Depp. This was the film that that started his career, and also this is the film that played a significant role in New Line Cinema becoming the company that it was. Oh yeah, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't for this film. I'm pretty sure if it wasn't for this film, we wouldn't have gotten all the major franchise, all the great films we could have gotten, like especially with the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So like horror films play a much bigger role in the film industry than some people realize.
Have you guys ever heard of like exactly where the idea of like Nightmare on Elm Street even came from? Did you guys ever hear about it? Or
we did talk about that. I was getting to that. Before you came on, I was talking about how Wes Craven, when he was a kid, he saw like this stranger outside that was glaring at him, and he was wearing a fedora, and that served as like his inspiration for what Freddy would look like. And also, he was researching before he made this film and wrote the script. He actually researched this. There was this study that he read about where a boy was like having nightmares and did not to the point where he did not want to sleep at all. Like was having a coffee pot with him at all times, like staying up nights on end. And then when he finally did go to sleep, he died. Like there was no explanation for why that happened.
Hatman
Hatman
killed John Saxon's career.
The Hatman's supposed to be that idea of the interdimensional.
Yeah, like the shadow person.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If there's one person who can talk about it more better than anyone else, I'm just going to point it out since Sarah said that is Mike Ricksecker. He's a big expert, and well, I try not to use expert. He's really someone who knows a lot about shadow people, including the Hatman.
Oh yeah, and like I said about Johnny Depp, this was the film that started his career, and this was a little while before he frequently started working with Tim Burton, and also almost 20 years before he took on the role of Captain Jack Sparrow in the Disney series Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm. Right.
He's really made a serious career for himself since this film.
I gotta just point this out. Mike hates you, Adam. What? Adam, what did you guys...
We don't say that word here.
Adam, I'm just gonna ask this right now. What did you and everybody else on Paranormal Mysteries did? Is there something you want to tell me?
That's gonna be for another episode.
That's gonna be for something else entirely. That's gonna be for something else entirely. So this film was had spawned 6 sequels, a crossover, Freddy versus Jason, and a remake, and it was also a TV series, Freddy's Nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Oh yeah. And what else was there?
Oh, Don, very
yes?
very quickly. Speaking of nightmares and stuff, in spite of the issue I had down here, this, however, came in the mail earlier today. The fog work for the video we're going to shoot tomorrow.
Sweet. Yeah, we're going to be shooting like this intro for his podcast series for Nick Files.
Well, that's not a podcast series,
or not podcast. I mean, sorry, not podcast. What am I saying?
You're gonna do the fog, like a fog coming up. Is that what it's for?
I don't mean to divert off track, but I'll just explain quickly because
just keep it brief.
I might as well just say it now since we're talking about it. As well, obviously, all you guys know about my scary stories presented in the dark page. We're going to make an intro. I've been meaning to do this for several months, but I was going to be making an introduction video, like intro. It looks like it's the start of a show, but it's really not. It's just for it's before I introduce my stories. So, I actually spoke with Jeremy about ideas because Jeremy, as you guys know, he always comes up with some of the best ideas, he can, obviously. So he and I talked about it, and he later typed it out for me so I could, remember it. He suggested for part of the videos use fog to kind of add the eeriness to it.
I like it.
The only thing I just don't have is the actual fog machine, but it is coming in by tomorrow afternoon, so I'll have everything set. We're going to turn part of this basement into almost like an endless black void, and well, honestly, I don't want to say too much about what the video is going to be like, but once we have it shot and it's put together, the rest of it, you guys will just have to come out and look. But Don will be the only witness to it because he'll be filming it.
That sounds. You guys are gonna have fun doing that. That'll be fun.
Oh, here
it's gonna look fun.
Here, let's get back to this. I own the entire Nightmare franchise for Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah.
Ooh.
So do I.
Oh, check this out.
Glad I'm not the only one.
Check what Adam just said here. Doing a narration of Pose the Raven for my 8-month-old niece, Reagan Raven, soon. That's awesome.
Nice.
Some ideas can be pretty blah too, Jeremy says. And yes, Adam, please send them to me. Definitely.
Yep. And also the limited steelbook for the Blu-ray. Yeah.
Oh, God,
where's your
watching it right now.
Oh, nice. What?
Yeah. I was gonna say, who has the knife fingers?
That's Freddy.
Whoa! I was like, Don, show it to me.
Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. I'm only
okay. We're hanging on. Ooh, just don't scrape it against anything.
I know this is a different movie, but because Friday the 13th is coming up.
Oh, there we go. I don't have one. Darn it.
Yeah, I bought this years ago, like for like this Halloween event, and I just have usually this is like stored in like where I use it like as a decoration to put somewhere. Like usually at this time I would just keep it like in my storage. But I feel like since we're talking Nightmare on Elm Street, I don't know, this just seemed fitting.
I have something Nightmare Elm Street-ish. It's not that exactly, but if you just give me 1 second, I'll grab it because I remember I have it in the bag right here.
Something.
Yeah, I know. Give me 1 second.
Okay, let's see.
I know we're focusing on Nightmare on Elm Street, Don, but hey, like you said, there's a crossover between Freddy and Jason. Since you wore that, I thought this would be appropriate. And plus, Friday the 13th coming up.
Okay, Don't make fun of me for this, but this is my nerdy side. But I saw this one day at Walmart, and it's like this claw barbecue thing.
Wow.
And so you hold it like this, and see, it's like
that's awesome. I love those.
And you're supposed to be able to cut meat with it, like when you're barbecuing and stuff. You're supposed to be able to cut your meat with it, and so it's Freddy Krueger-ish, and that's exactly what I thought of. And I was like, "Ooh, these are my Freddy Krueger hand for meat. It's for actually slicing meat." So
Here, Jeremy just put this up. Hang on. This is a remind. This is something for us tomorrow, Don. Jerry, see, warning. It takes a minute for the machine to warm up, and it'll shoot fog out without. That happened to me. I was standing right in front of the jet shooter, jumped 20 feet.
Oh man.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna have to wait a minute or so once we plug it in.
You have to be cautious. It slices and dices and makes juvenile fries.
Yeah, I've yet to use it.
Yeah, wait.
I don't know why, but I thought it said. I don't know why, but because I could see this from a little bit afar, I actually first thought she said make juvenile fries.
Metal meat claws.
Nice.
That's cool.
Wait, you said you cook with that. Are you talking about her claws or mine?
You can use yours for cutting meat too, you know.
Yeah, if only this was like, if only these were the real blade, because you can actually buy like actual Freddy glove, like the real blades and everything.
Yeah.
Wolverine
online. There actually are websites about it. Yeah, like they could. Yeah.
Make your own. Just make your own. Just do what he did. You know, he just sharpened the metal.
She's saying both. She's saying both.
Yeah. Both. No, I was answering Tom's comment. I don't think I have to turn off the smoke detectors for it because this is not flammable or anything like that. It shouldn't be, because we used them before and it's never set the alarms off.
Shish kebabs.
Were shish kebabs.
Yeah, I'll just start bringing it with me to the restaurants. Be like, I brought my own utensils. Can I put my food on here?
Here we go. Nursery rhyme.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Oh, you know what I should have done? I just realized something, guys.
What?
Uh-oh. He disappeared. I don't think that was on purpose.
He vanished.
He'll be back. Right. He'll figure it out.
He'll be back in a little bit. Okay.
Oh wait.
What happened? What
happened? I got the cordless keyboard here, and I actually typed
a key. You closed it. You closed it. I knew it.
I was going to say I'll be right back, actually, because I have something else. So it's associated with Nightmare on Elm Street. So
okay, do it.
Be right back.
So the little girls singing the
just turn off your camera.
Rhyme. The little girl singing the rhyme, it's like, it makes it so creepy, and it's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be, but I swear, every time I hear a song, I mean, I think even when I jump roped as a girl, I think we sang it too because of this movie.
Oh, yeah, because those girls, those are actually supposed to be spirits of children that he killed.
Yeah. So it is supposed to be creepy.
Yeah, that was their intention. You know, like a lot of people have asked me, what is with the kids jumping rope? I'm like, yeah, those are the spirits of children that Freddy had killed during his mortal life.
Yes.
Yeah. When he was a child killer.
Yeah. So they're like kind of haunting.
Oh yeah, and the reason why, like, what hugely inspired Wes Craven to create the Razor Glove is how. Like he looked at it and saw how his cat was like do that thing where they kneading their claws onto things.
Yeah.
He decided, you know what, claws should be the weapon for this killer.
Yeah, I think I dig movies like that, like even Edward Scissorhands. You know, with the hand knives and scissors and all that. I mean, I love those.
Another Johnny Depp classic.
There you go. You should wear that for the rest of the night. I love it because you're like doo.
I think I will.
Start screaming things.
For the rest of this podcast, I will.
Of this podcast.
Yes. Hi from the... Okay, hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
How's everybody doing? Yes, we're doing great. Okay, yeah, I don't know where... Nick just disappeared on us again. Yeah, he is having some terrible luck tonight. But...
Be prepared.
Mm-hmm. And... I will say this. I loved how this introduced a final girl, Nancy Thompson, played by Heather Langenkamp, and she was amazing in this. I think she was about 20 years old at the time this film was made. And
she looked younger than that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, they great casting choice in this film, no doubt. Out of all, everybody, like all the characters had a great cast member playing them.
Mm-hmm.
What? That needs a haircut. Use those claws. Take a little bit off the top. I'll be sure to get right on that, Jeremy.
Yeah. Oh, hold on one second. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Okay. So I'm gonna be all alone. So Okay, apparently I'm hosting this. I'm just alone on this
Actually-
podcast now. Oh,
actually,
there we
no.
go. There we go. That's what we're missing.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff the Goat is on. Good to see you, Goat.
Yep. Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, as soon
Yep.
as you left, Jill, that's when I came back. But I had to wear this perfect attire, of course. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah. All you're missing is your hat.
I don't have a hat.
And this.
All I got is the sweater.
I think Jeremy has the hat. Jeremy, throw the
So-
hat over.
Yeah.
Should've
So
asked Jeremy to mail it over for me.
Jeremy's got the hat. Nick's got the sweater. I got the glove.
We got to put you all in the same room.
Oh, yes.
We're doing good, Jeff.
Yep. And I wanted to say this though. Like one of the when Wes Craven created Freddy Krueger, he wanted to create the what?
No, I'm just reading what Jeremy read. Say you could be the second ever haircut on this network, because that was when Jeremy got his haircut before he had the surgery, when he had it all shaved off. And I don't know who he was referring that to. I don't know who it was that he was referring to, but Jill, you know, all the time everyone's been pressuring me to get a haircut, obviously live on the live on these shows.
Yeah, we just need Dawn's, knife hand there to cut your hair for you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Like the sweater.
So you know
We'll set off smoke alarm.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so we gotta be careful with that. Okay.
See,
And so,
when I ran upstairs to go grab this, I asked my parents about it, but they said it wasn't. But I guess we'll. I mean, it's probably just not worth the risk.
Right. Okay. So yeah, when Wes Craven wanted to create Freddy Krueger, he wanted to create this sort of like a villain that you cannot escape from. Because Freddy, in this film exists in this franchise, Freddy, he exists as a supernatural entity who just goes after people in their dreams, and in the dreams it'll have an effect on reality. Once he sets his sights on you, he will be invading your dreams every single time you fall asleep. So, and that's one of the most horrific aspects about Freddy, is that inevitably you will have to face him, and if you want to survive, then you have no choice but to fight him.
Exactly.
Yeah, and let's see. And as I was saying before, lots of scenes where he was stalking people. He's doing transporting them, leading them into a boiler room, which is his lair, because that's where he died. And,
it's just which if you kind of look at it in a paranormal aspect, typical of any ghosts that certain individuals who died, they'll always return back to the place where they were, where they met their demise.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's right. And so, Freddy, he decided he wants to get back on all the parents of Springwood for killing him by taking the lives of their children, by invading their dreams. And I know the death scenes in this film are just amazing.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's free, and Tina's death, and right in the dream where they finally revealed Freddy's face in Tina's dream. That really is what set the tone for Freddy, how menacing he is. She says, "Please God," and he's just this. Is God.
Brad, Nikki Krueger. That's actually
What?
No, just what Brad said. Nikki Krueger. Here, I'll be honest.
Here. This is God.
Boy, let me just go back for a sec with Brad's comment. I'm going to be honest with you guys, since he said my name that way. That was actually my old-fashioned name. I used to be called Nikki until I was.
Yeah.
I
told you that. I called you that too, and you're. I have a tendency to pick know your guys' child nickname. So every now and then I might pick that up, and I might call it to you by accident.
yeah. Nikki was my childhood name, and I had that until I was 13. I decided to be called Nick then, just to sound a little bit more mature.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy. So we go from Nikipedia to Nikki Krueger.
Yeah. So
Elm Street. Oh my goodness.
Nightmare on Elm. Yeah, I've had that before. Yeah, I've been told that before. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Dawn knows.
Oh,
I know.
what's this? There's somebody
What?
from Twitch.
Cool.
Uh,
He wants to promote for you.
Oh, I'm not sure what this is. Yeah, let's just.
that might be spam, actually.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
Come on, Brad.
But,
Okay.
Nicholas Kruger.
Jesus. Okay.
Now
All
all these
right.
other
All right.
things are coming up.
Okay. And back on topic.
That's a spam bot.
Yeah. Okay. But enough of the spam bots. Okay. Anyway.
That was Jeremy.
Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah, like the Tina's death scene, like the way they had did that stunt where she was like on the ceiling. I'm trying to figure out like how they did that, because they actually did something very similar to that in the remake of The Fly. Jeff Goldblum when he's like crawling around the ceiling when he was like part fly.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that they just reversed the camera? I mean, I didn't look into it.
To get to. Yeah,
Like rotating.
Adam just wrote. Yeah, rotating sets. So what
There you
I was
go.
going to say was what they probably did was it was in reality a floor, but they made it look like it was a ceiling.
Mhm.
And those certain shots where it was like looking up, it
She's really down.
I was going to, well, either that or might have also been, as hard as it sounds to believe, that person may actually be standing up and the camera's actually pointing downwards, but still giving that effect to make it look like they're shooting up.
Yeah, I would think that they just reversed it.
Whole room was on a gimbal with a fixed camera. Okay, that explains it. Yeah, because they did, like I said, they did that same thing in The Fly. Exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys stay awake. What would you do in that situation?
Oh man, like I will say this though. There was a time where I did not sleep for 2 straight nights. It's not because I was afraid of anything. Let me explain this. It was during my final semester at the university, and we had a snowstorm that shut down the campus for a week, and I decided to take the extra time, take advantage of it and study a lot for my tests that were coming up. And so, what's that noise?
It might be mine, or is it yours? Are there?
That's the fans in the background. Like I said,
I heard a motorcycle go by my window. So
okay,
okay.
I think that's what that is. Okay, anyway,
I thought you guys could hear the fans.
Yeah,
that's what I thought it was.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was studying for the test, and I decided to pull a couple of all-nighters. I stayed up for 2 straight nights. Then the third night, I had fallen asleep and slept for like 12 straight hours.
Mm.
Yeah, I know. That's like the only time I ever stayed awake that long. I do not, and I will say from experience, do not recommend it.
Well, I don't really even need to say how many times I've been up late all the time. I mean, you guys know all too well what I do when I have the chance.
I have insomnia, and I blame it on Freddie because I remember as a child or a kid or whatever, however old I was, I did not want to fall asleep. I did not want to take a bath because I do fall asleep in the bath. So every time I fell asleep in a bath, I was like, Freddie's going to get me. I'd wake up in a snap, you know?
Holy cow.
Yeah, I remember
Jeremy's 32 hours.
I think I beat you. I went 3 days.
I beat you. I beat you on that too. I beat you on that too, Jeremy.
I beat you too.
Yep. I stayed away for like 60 hours.
Oh, okay. That's above me. I think mine was at least 3 days at the minimal. And then I had to go see a doctor for some sleeping pills or something. I was like, knock me out.
Oh yeah.
Where the blood comes out of the bed. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I went. Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. The blood coming out of the bed thing. That scene where she was like in the bathtub and then sucked in. That was a terrifying scene.
My god, horror.
Oh man. Yeah, I can tell you, like Heather Langenkamp, she really knows how to how to look scared and be. You know, that was. Yeah, she was amazing.
Whoa! Wait, what, Adam? 2 days cocaine may have been involved many years ago.
Whoa. Okay.
There's no memory of it, is there?
Okay. I don't need to know that.
No, I got a feeling I think he's joking, but that's funny because we talked about that stuff in the past.
I thought it was powdered sugar.
Coffee commercials.
That's up your alley, Jill, since you always talk about Starbucks.
Oh, nice. Yeah. It's like drink our Starbucks, drink our coffee, or Freddie will kill you in your nightmares.
Stay awake forever.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's how you make a profit. Terrify people into buying your products.
Or Freddy's coming. He's coming. He's on his way. Watch, he fell asleep. You'll see.
He's already here.
You know what? I should this is something again associated with Freddy, since we're talking about it. I guess you could pretty much say that he visited me. Where is that picture?
He really visited you?
Yeah. Hang on one second. I'm looking for it. Oh shit. Hang on. No, you guys
organize your pictures, man.
It's because of this movie that I wouldn't let my foot dangle off the bed or the couch, afraid I was going to get pulled under into that world.
Oh yeah, that one famous scene where probably the most iconic death of the entire film is where Johnny Depp's character Glenn is pulled down into that hole in the bed by Freddy, and then blood just volcanically erupts out there. So blood stuck to the ceiling. That had to have been a one take kind of a thing. I don't see how anybody could just redo that. I mean, that was just
once again they had to. No, I was gonna say once again they had to do that upside down to make a shot like that.
Bye, Adam. Have a good night.
Take care, Adam. Have a great night.
Adam. Yep.
We'll have you back on at some point soon.
Oh yeah. And like that was like shocking, yeah, amazing at the same time how they managed to do that in just one take. Oh yeah, because there's no way they could have done that a second time. And let's see. Let's see. Oh yeah, Heather Langenkamp. Like this is like she was like in as far as this franchise, she was in 3 films. It was this one, the 3rd film, and also she played herself in New Nightmare. And and since then, she's done all kinds of great work. I believe was working production on the Dawn of the Dead remake, if I remember this correctly. And lately, she's been in a series on Netflix called The Midnight Club, and I gotta check that out. I think it's like a limited series.
Yeah, I want to see that too.
I never heard of it. See, when you said Midnight Club, I mean, I know this sounds. I think it's just because the name sounds similar. I actually first thought you were going to say like Midnight Society from the show Are You Afraid of the Dark? Because it just sounded so similar just hearing that name.
Oh yeah, and I actually when I hear Midnight Club, it makes me think of the video game series where you're like street racing. It was a game franchise that was made by the Rockstar, the same guys who made the Grand Theft Auto games. And Midnight Club, they haven't made a game since like 2008. So it's been a while.
Okay, I got the picture, so I'm going to share this to you. So no, indeed, he did visit me. Hang on one second. Check this out.
All right.
Go. Look at Nick.
Robert.
That was 18-year-old me in 2011 at Flashback Weekend, and he was there. And I was among one of the last people that he got a picture with me for. So that was awesome.
I like the face he's making. He's all in character.
My dad at one point, I mean, we were just talking about that movie. We were talking about some other film that he did. This was actually, I think, long before he ever played the role of Freddy Krueger. I think the film that he did was probably shot back in the late 60s or early 70s. And when he brought it up to him, he was like astounded. I was like, you know that movie? Like, now no one ever talks about this movie. So my dad and him had a good conversation, but during that conversation, that's when I got that picture with him. So he's a really nice guy. He certainly has a lot of great sense of humor.
Yeah.
When earlier, I was going to say Hefty, Adam, he's saying that it took 2 death scenes for Depp.
Oh, it took 2 takes, you mean?
Jeff, that was this was at a horror. Oh no, I was answering Jeff's question. This was at a horror film convention. It was Flashback Weekend in Chicago. So all the stuff that was going on behind us, those were just people walking around.
I got you. Yep. And
yes, he is,
oh yes,
he was friendly.
Yeah, and he actually did. He actually did reprise his role as Freddy like one time in this TV show. I believe it was called The Goldbergs, if I remember correctly. He was in one episode where, I think it was a Halloween episode, and where I'm surprised he was able to actually played that again, a role again after all this time. Yeah, but what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, there were like there was like that one scene that kind of concerned me. You know that the scene where Glenn sneaks into Nancy's bedroom.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's like I get it, like that same old cliche, you know, teenage couple, boyfriend sneaking into the girl's bedroom,
It's
you know that. But here's the thing, that seems like a very serious hazard, having something built on the side of your house where it leads to your daughter's bedroom. Like, what if it wasn't the boyfriend who saw that? What if like some intruder, you know, like and then
exactly,
nothing good?
yeah. I mean, and when you think about it too, I mean, I understand where that comes from, but you have to remember, and obviously, since this came out near the end of the golden age of slasher films, Nightmare on Elm Street really was one of those slasher films in that era. You know, telling teenagers out there, you know, don't go to Lover's Lane, or you know, don't have underage sex until you're at the right age. So it's just that was the typical theme for a lot of those slasher films from that time.
Yeah. Oh, here, Heather Lane came. What was up? in Nightmare on Elm Street. Yes, she was. No arguments there. Yeah, like she was an excellent final girl in this. What?
That's why
I have a melting
staircase. Take a step, sink in.
yeah. He's referring to the dream sequence when Nancy's like running from Freddy. You know, going back upstairs when where she and Glenn were trying to come up, had this plan where she could like watch her sleep, make sure if she was in trouble, wake her up. But of course, that doesn't work out. And
the stairs begin to melt.
Oh yeah. Oh, I should mention that house. Nancy's house in that film was which was 1428 Elm Street in Springwood, Ohio, in the film. Well, in real life, it's actually 1428 North Genesee Avenue in Los Angeles, California.
Thanks for pointing that out. Now I'm going to head over to that house. And I just gave me the address. Thank you. Now Jill is in California, so ticket to find it.
Well, see, yeah, just make sure you stay on the sidewalk. That place is still private property. It's I believe they were selling. I looked it up a few years ago. They were like selling it for about around $3 million, and the house does look very much the same, except you know, like more or less, except it has a pool in the backyard now. So.
Promiscuous teenagers, no messing with mom's trellis. I don't even know what trellis is.
It's either a trellis, the thing that you can climb that has all the plants on it, or a tree.
Oh, Google Earth. There you go.
Oh, that's true. Jeremy makes a good point. We have a Myers house. We have a Freddy house. Jason, it doesn't have a house, but then again, he's got his camp.
He's got the lake.
The lake and the camp.
He's got a shack in part 2.
The shack in part 2. Well, partially part 3 too.
Oh yeah,
because that's where he later he went back to recover from his injuries.
I remember that. Yep. And so yeah, Wes Craven. This is like one of the best films that he's done aside from Scream, and I believe like the two other horror hits that he made before Nightmare on Elm Street were the like Blast House on the Left back in 1972. Oh yeah, I believe that was banned in the UK for obvious reasons.
That promoted violence.
I've seen all the versions of that.
Yeah, and then there was the 1977 hit that Hills Have Eyes.
Nice.
Yep.
And yep,
seen all that.
And he's done. And another one that I love, another one of pieces of work that I love was made in like later on in like in the early 90s. It was The People Under the Stairs.
People Under the Stairs. And don't forget, this was in the late 80s. It was kind of a slasher film of its own, but of course, really more in the horror comedy genre. Shocker.
Oh yeah, Shocker. That was I remember that one.
And then there was also, I think of other films.
Good night, Jeff.
Oh yeah, good night, Jeff. You have a great night.
Oh yeah.
And Jeff, actually, I'm just going to say this now since Jeff's from Ohio. Jeff, I'm going to be in Ohio in just a few months. So if you want to, I'm going to be heading over there for Parasite Con. I don't know how far you are from Mansfield, but if you want to come out and hang out with us, I'll be there.
Ooh.
All right. Nice.
From the goat.
From the goat.
He calls
What's your favorite scenes?
Jeff calls himself the goat a lot.
Well, he calls himself the goat. He said once before because it came through as what he was being called on the ghost box. It named him the goat, so he stuck with it. I guess.
I never really knew exactly why he was called the goat, but
that's
now
what he said.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense now. So he's always been referred as Jeff the Goat.
So he went with it.
I see. Okay, so here's a question for everybody from Sarah. What are your favorite scenes? Oh, that is a tough question.
Tough one.
Like, basically, I just love where Nancy is just finally fighting Freddy, and the final battle when he brings her out of the dream world, because that's the thing. When like the one way that Freddy can be stopped is if you bring him from the dream world into the real world. That means having a grip on him right as you're waking up. You wake up and he's brought into the real world, and she prepared several booby traps throughout the house that makes me think of Home Alone.
That's my favorite too.
It does.
She was ready.
Does.
Home Alone-ish.
Yeah, except Home Alone wasn't even a thing for another 6 years.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if Chris Columbus. I'm wondering if Chris Columbus actually saw Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's what I was gonna say. It inspired him to do the booby traps. Like, let me get the person that's after me. Well, you've got a surprise waiting for you.
Don, here's some ideas that DJ just came up for. I think the part you'll see is one movie I know we'll be talking about.
No Jeepers.
Yep, I see one exception. Jeepers Creepers I will not do because I refuse to support. I've mentioned this several times on the podcast. I refuse to give any support to the director of the film, Victor Salva, a convicted pedophile. I despise the man. I refuse to talk about his films on this podcast.
Maybe we could just do the Mothman instead.
The Mothman. Yeah, that would actually be a good episode.
For Nick.
Here, he's got another one here for Valentine's Day. My buddy Valentine from 1981.
Of course. Definitely.
And I wanted to cover that one, and also on another Valentine's Day for another time, I wanted to cover, Valentine, the 2001 slasher. Even though it's a meh kind of a movie, I still like the cast of it, which includes my famous doppelganger. You know who that is?
Who's that?
David Boreanaz. Everybody on YouTube.
That's right. I forgot his name.
Yeah, everybody on YouTube says, I get comments all the time.
Yes.
People are saying I look like David Boreanaz.
Okay, so I obsessively watched his series Angel, the vampire series from Buffy the Vampire, and I'm gonna confession time. I had a crush on him. So when you said that that's your doppelganger, I go, oh no.
So Jeremy also pointed out the mist. That's another idea.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh God. Okay. Anyway. We'll cover that at some point.
Oh, this is a great idea that Jeremy just came up with. A John Carpenter month, Stephen King month, George Romero month, and so on.
That's a good one. Yeah, I was thinking about doing certain parts of the podcast where all month I talk about movies from certain individuals, and I do like this idea, Jeremy.
That's a great idea, Jeremy.
We did something like that for Christmas, obviously, where we talk mainly Christmas horror films. So that'd be kind of awesome to do something like this.
Yeah, hang on one second. Let me pull up an image here. Hang on.
While you're doing that,
wait. Shouldn't take too long. Hang on.
No. I was just bringing up the comments. What is your guys' favorite kill in Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yeah, we were just discussing that, but we kind of sidetracked just a tiny bit.
Yeah,
a tiny bit.
Just a little.
That's tiny bit. All these shows on this network.
Okay, one thing at a time here. So what are your favorite moments? What was your favorite moment, Nick?
Well, it was a kill scene, but at the same time, it really wasn't. It must have been the first time, and I know you guys already talked about, was the scene where first victim. I can't remember her name.
Tina.
Yeah, where she's fighting Freddy Krueger off, and she rips his face off like a mask and shows the skeleton and all the muscle that just like that was. I still think that's actually really cool with the effects that they used for that, because like just ripping his face off like it was nothing but a mask.
Right. Yeah, because she wasn't terrified enough, when after saying "Please God," and he says, "This is God."
American Horror Story.
Oh yeah, that's a great series, Nick. If you haven't seen it, Nick, please do so.
I've seen I've seen a lot of it. I've seen Murder House, Asylum, Coven, which of course was the season for the longest time was the one everybody was talking about. Freak Show, which is my favorite. Hotel, and this is as far as I've gone so far. Roanoke. I haven't seen the other seasons yet, but I've been meaning to. So I've seen the first 6 seasons.
I think the most recent one was the New York City one. So,
see, I didn't know what the last one was.
Okay.
Oh, here. DJ Evans C says, "What is your guys' favorite kill in Nightmare on Elm Street?" Yeah, my favorite kill was definitely Glenn's Johnny Depp's character Glenn when he was sucked into the bed and the volcano of blood just coming right out. I always thought that was a gruesome death, but extremely unique effect that they put into it.
I like one of the first kills because I like the ceiling scene because I don't know why I'm into the ceiling thing, but maybe it's because when I see things vision wise, I do see them up in the corners like that, and it's like if I could depict it in art, it's a thing of nightmares, and so it kind of reminds me for my sense of like personificating it. Then it's like I relate with that scene a lot, or any ceiling scenes that are nightmarish.
Right.
Is more personal for me.
It does make sense in a way, Jill, because like especially for a movie like Nightmare on Elm Street when it was originally released, there have been many slasher films that were made before, but nothing like this amount. In fact, if I'm correct on it, it's kind of like when I discussed how Black Christmas was a debut film. I think Nightmare on Elm Street was itself in a way. What I mean by again debut film is I think Elm Street was one of the first horror films once again to combine both the slasher genre and the supernatural genre together. Because in the end, it was dealing with this basically undead paranormal entity. This, Freddy's essentially a ghost. So, it does make a lot of sense that it's kind of both a slasher and supernatural film in one.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, because Freddy, like almost impossible to like. It's like you can stop him, but you can't. He won't stay down forever, obviously, because
he's already dead.
Yeah, because he frequently comes back because of like the whole memory of him. Like if people hear his name, he's gonna come after them. Like in the sequel, when Jesse moves into into Nancy's old house, learns about Freddy Krueger. Freddy invades him and creates murderous chaos, and so he feeds on everybody's fear.
Jeremy makes a good point here about like how Freddy's done so many fantastic kills. Yeah.
It is a hard one. It definitely is a hard one.
Roanoke, I wasn't too curious about Sarah. Jeff, I thought you were leaving. It would be closer if you make it to the Bel Air house. You know what, Jeff? I've been trying to get to the Bel Air house. My friend, it would be only 10 minutes from where I live. Yeah, Jeff. If given the chance, let's talk at some point, because I've been trying to get to the Bel Air house for the last few years.
Oh, you mean like Fresh Prince of Bel Air house?
No, this is in Ohio.
Oh, okay. I thought he was in LA. Where I thought he was talking about how this. I thought he was talking about how that was.
The Bel Air house. Sorry, go on. Go on.
I'm trying to say. I thought he was talking about it in LA because I thought he said he was living close by to the house where Nancy's house was. Yeah, the Fresh Prince of Bel Air house is close by to that. That's why.
No, this is a different Bel Air house. This is in Ohio, and it's a haunted location. It's one of the, despite being obviously being a house, unlike the other one you were saying, Don. This one's open for investigations.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jeremy got his favorite moments
in part 6.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah.
Jason said the final nightmare. Yeah, like that was cheesy. Remember this bit where he's just like, "You forgot the power glove." basically poking fun of probably Nintendo's biggest flop ever.
P.S. Forgot when I left to go. And DJ makes a good point here.
Here, let me read this. Never liked Jeepers Creepers from 2001, so no FearFans podcast because I hate Victor Salva. Thank you. Someone who understands.
Another. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we probably won't cover him.
I mean,
Yeah, no.
I like Cheap. I was gonna say I like the movie itself. I just don't like the director.
Yeah. As far as Jeepers Creepers, yeah, no, I'm not covering something made by him because pedophiles piss me off.
Oh, what's this? Hang on, the drug girl in part 3, the TV set death. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV.
I love the
Welcome to
antennas that
prime
were
time.
like moving around over his head. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
And like
DJ is full of ideas here.
I think
Ghost
he did
Rider?
mention that before, Ghost Rider, and you
Ghost
did
Rider,
say that you liked it.
isn't Ghost Rider a Marvel film?
It's a Marvel film, but it does kind of have somewhat of a horror theme because it does deal with demons in it.
Yeah,
So,
I do like
there are
that
some-
part.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's really considered much of a horror film, but
It can be.
It can be because you're dealing with somebody who's making a deal with the devil, and you also see like some of the true faces of like these demonic entities.
Yeah, I like
I
that part.
saw it in theaters. It can be kind of scary at times.
But one thing that I definitely want to cover on the podcast is Wednesday. You know, we got to get you guys to watch the rest of those episodes because they've already announced that season 2 is going to be well on the way. So,
Oh wow.
Hey Don, tell you what, after we shoot this video, since it's only going to take maybe an hour to shoot, we can watch it then.
yes.
Watch party.
Sarah has a
watch
good point.
party.
Yeah, Ghost Rider,
line
fine line
between
between
horror,
action and horror.
Yes, definitely. It's like
Mhm.
I consider like Blade partially horror because of the vampires. You know, I
Mhm.
mean, it does feature some terrifying vampires in that, so technically that one counts as far as
Well, either way,
superhero.
I mean,
Or what
just
about like
brought up
Underworld?
basically- Well, and I was going to say, you
Underworld?
just
Oh, yeah.
brought up an additional idea. Like Blade is not fully a horror film, more of the action, but has some scary moments to it. I mean, why shouldn't it be the same for Ghost Rider?
Mhm.
Because that deals with demons in it.
We'll
And
think
he's-
about it.
He's immortal
But,
in that sense too, with the deal with the devil. He
Hmm.
should have died,
Well,
but
we'll
he
think-
has the deal with the devil.
We'll think about that. You know, that's another
Yeah.
topic for another day.
Sarah
When-
doesn't consider Wednesday as horror.
Okay, but anyway, we're getting sidetracked here. Anyway, so they, as far as like I think there's plenty about this film that it aged pretty well as far as effects, with just one
Mhm.
exception, and that was the in the final scene when all the kids are being taken away by the possessed Chevy Bel Air, and the mom is Nancy's mom was looking at the girls on the jump rope, and then Freddy's arm comes out, grabs her, drags her through the door's window, which is clearly, when you look at it now, it's clearly a balloon, and it just looks silly. Like her body as it comes through the window is a balloon. You know what I'm talking about?
That seemed kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
it gets a little cheesy.
No, we're not doing that movie, Jeremy. I Spit on Your Grave. That's not even a horror film. That movie
That's
made me
more-
sick to my stomach.
That's like
In
a
the
crime
Valentine's
thriller.
Day section. That's just like, why would they
What?
put it? They put it in the Valentine's Day section. Well, if I had something to say,
It's
Okay,
a
no,
warning,
no,
I guess. It's
no,
a
no,
warning
Nick-
for dates.
Okay, I'm thinking that was just I think Nick, that was probably just a customer put that in Valentine's Day section as some kind of a sick joke.
I hope so, because I would have said if I had a message for that, I would have said I never, ever put I Spit on Your Grave in the Valentine's section. I mean, it's like, if they really did that, it's like, what is wrong with people? Why would you do that to yourself?
Ugh. Her body looks like a dummy than a balloon. I don't know. It kind of looked balloonish to me, but yeah, that's just me. But either way, regardless, it does look pretty silly.
DJ just made a reference to Freddy. Welcome to
Welcome
prime
to
time,
prime
bitch.
One of Freddy's most iconic lines in part 3. And
Yep.
let's see. Oh, like I want to say I do love the car that Glenn drove in that film, a Chevy Bel Air. I mean, that's a classic. You know, I mean,
Got a question here.
Chevy.
John.
what do you think about the remake? I know everyone hated it. I mean, it's not as good as the first film. It did, like, one of the few things that it had going for it is like Freddy's burns were more realistic, but yeah, there's not much else to it. It's like the original version, like remade, modernized, and kind of watered down. But I do like how this Freddy, they wanted to make him like a much more serious villain, not like the cheesy like the way that he was in the sequels, but I don't know. I just feel very iffy about it.
Jeremy just said no, it was a legit setup. They even had the tags for it. There were several horror movies there. I Spit on Your Grave, Love and Monsters, and a few others. And finally realized that love isn't always roses and chocolates.
Oh, Jesus.
Billy's got a question for me now. Do you hate I Spit on Your Grave? Oh, jeez. Okay.
Oh, God.
So I'm just going to say this. I Spit on Your Grave. No. That is a movie that to this day I really regret seeing. It's sickening. Hostel. And Joe, we talked about that movie on the phone the other night. That was another film that made me sick.
Oh, yeah. Saw I will consider. I have the franchise. Yes. Yeah. Saw I will. Yes. That I will consider on the podcast. Maybe we may actually do a whole month of like 2 whole months of just Saw movies on here.
Saw basically, I mean, it does have some of that torture theme to it, but it's not as brutal like you would see in Hostel. Hills Have Eyes. Yes, it's a Wes Craven movie. It's just as bad as like Last House on the Left, but it's not as bad. But Hills Have Eyes was not so bad, although the remake was gruesome. And what was that other? And High Tension. I don't think I've seen High Tension before.
It's pretty brutal. But Jeremy's saying Saw is too gore porn for me. No. You know what film? You know what is gore porn? You know what is gore porn? Dead Alive, the Peter Jackson film Dead Alive, the zombie flick.
Which is a classic.
Insane. That has an insane level of gore. Like a lot of people keep saying, "Oh, Saw is gory," it's brutal. No. Dead Alive is a lot worse. Only it's like more comedic.
Yeah, it's more comedic, and there's different terms to like what Jeremy said. There was something called gore porn or gorno or torture porn, that kind of thing. There's a difference when you think about it. So, Jeremy, which Hills Have Eyes did you see since he said he enjoyed? The original or the remake?
The remake, he said.
No, he just said I enjoyed Hills Have Eyes, but it doesn't say exactly which one.
He did. He said right here, the remake actually.
The remake of Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. Okay, never mind.
You've never seen Dead Alive, Jeremy?
Oh, you're missing out, Jeremy.
You gotta watch. You gotta watch it.
If you like zombie films, it's worth seeing. And the fact that Peter Jackson, director of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, directed this, it's like it blows my mind. I mean,
long before he ever did it.
Oh yeah,
the early 90s.
It was 1992. Yeah, I'm having a hard time getting my hand. Yeah, I'm having a hard time getting my hands on a Blu-ray copy of it. I want that film so bad. It would be good for my collection here, but I've had no luck.
Jeremy has both the original and remake of Hills Have Eyes.
Oh,
and
let's say the remake is much more. The remake is much more brutal.
Zombies are okay as long as there's a story. So I'm just going to say this now because I don't want to spoil it for you, Jeremy, if you decide to check it out. There is a storyline to it. It is somewhat goofy, but the amount of gore is just incredible.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to go back to talking about Nancy. Nancy is suspicious about everybody having the exact same, dreaming of the exact same killer as her. Everybody is seeing Freddy, the man with the hat and the glove, and I just love how she just finally decides, you know what, after this man is killing all my friends, I gotta face him once and for all, and so pulls him onto the real world and sets up the booby traps. Thinking about the booby traps, the rigged sledgehammer on top of the door. Oh my, that would. Oh man, I can't even imagine the serious injury that would cause in real life. That truly is like Home Alone.
DJ makes a good point here about one of the other films.
We'll get to that in a second. And also the exploding. That exploding light that she rigged, and finally burning him in the basement. Oh, jeez. Man, I mean, that was an insane final battle. Oh, here. Dream Warriors are the most iconic installment of the franchise and the one that gives Nightmare on Elm Street its reputation. Oh, yeah. I do have the song Dream Warriors. That was a great song they did of the film. And also, the third one stars Patricia Arquette, David Arquette's little sister.
Yep. Oh, my God. Billy, What is with him giving me all these
Oh
gruesome?
my god!
Wrong
What,
Turn.
that's worse than I Spit on Your Grave, Human Centipede. You know, Wrong Turn I'll tolerate. Wrong Turn was good.
Human Centipede is
I will
disturbing as all hell.
I will not
It's just
rewatch
messed
that.
up. It's not even just disturbing. It's just messed up.
It is. It's really messed up.
I forgot, Jeremy. Yeah, he doesn't care about spoilers. He'll look up the plot before he even buys it.
Mhm.
That this movie's better than that. Oh my God, Thriller, A Cruel Picture. You know what that is? Or
Wrong Turn was
Yeah, Wrong
disturbing.
Turn was disturbing. But what was? Do you guys know what is this movie called? Thriller, A Cruel Picture that Billy's recommending.
Oh my god!
That might be like independent. I don't know that one.
I know
Yeah.
Michael
Oh, yeah, I
Jackson's
wrote
Thriller, but I don't know about this other film called Thriller, A Cruel Picture.
Yeah. But yeah, the Human Centipede, like I first heard about it when I was in high school. Like me and some of my classmates in film, like we saw the trailer and we were just like, "What the hell is this?"
There was one guy I actually spoke with who said he saw that movie, and he said that movie. This is going to sound really weird. He said that movie actually made him hungry. Apparently, I'm like, what?
No thanks.
Like, what the hell are you talking about?
I don't know what to make of that.
If you want to eat a
I
burrito,
didn't know how to make of it either.
What the heck?
I'm
will
hungry.
have?
I'm hungry watching the movie. Like,
I want to
no.
watch something when someone's head is up someone else's ass. Is
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
here.
please don't eat. Please don't eat.
here.
Oh no.
Don, the glove have actual blades. No, these are plastic. I actually bought this like years ago for like a Halloween event, but this is right now it's just more like a prop that I just set up like on a shelf somewhere for Halloween. But I do know that they actually do sell like ones that have the actual blades. Like I remember you know that show Dead Meat, the YouTube channel. You know the YouTube channel Dead Meat, right? The guy who does all the kill counts, James A. Janice. Yeah, he actually has a real like Freddy Krueger like glove that has the blades on it. He actually cut himself opening it.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
on one of the blades, he actually cut his finger opening it.
Yikes.
I say cosplay. I say we make our own and just sharpen it like he does in the movie.
Jeremy, I'm just going to give him this advice for him since he says he has no inclination to watch the Centipede movies. Jeremy, I don't know if you watched the show, but you should watch because it just came up in my head. Watch the South Park parody of Human Centipede.
I thought of that. I was like, oh, what about the
that
scene
was
in South
funny.
Park?
Okay,
now
that was super funny.
That was funny as hell.
Yeah. Hold on, Kyer. I believe in you.
That was what they had the iPads.
Oh.
Oh, that was funny.
That moment, like I know, like Trey Parker when he does the accent of like Asian people, I mean, he's just so racially insensitive. It's hilarious as hell.
It's a controversial show, but they always say because they're like, when they made the episodes, for like parodying COVID and stuff. I even asked my dad saying, don't you think this is starting to go a little bit too far? You have to remember a show like South Park, Trey Parker and the people who work on it, their intention is we shouldn't be doing this, but we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah. It's the kind of show that makes you wonder just how far is too far.
They're going to do it anyway. That's just who they are. Not necessarily the kill itself.
I like the opening of
part 4. Yeah. That was a good
back.
That was a good opening for it.
That was, yeah. And and that scene, I remember he's just like, I'll see you in hell. And then he's like, tell him Freddy sent you.
Just look up Thriller, A Cruel Picture. I go to the demonic mom movie that is coming. Do you know about this stuff?
Did you though, Nick?
Oh yeah, that's coming out.
Demonic mom movie. That's Evil Dead Rise. I did a reaction video to it.
The new Evil Dead.
Yeah, I already did a reaction video to it, Nick. So and it looks horrifying. It's because I saw the Red Band trailer and oh my god, dude, it is so disturbing.
Guys, whatever you do, I just looked out. I just took who was it? I think that was Billy that brought it up. Don't see this.
I've seen worse.
No, Thriller, Cruel Picture. What it is, it's a 1973 Swedish rape and revenge film. That's another brutal film.
Okay.
I would
All
not
right.
recommend
All right.
it.
All right.
We'll talk
All
about
right.
it
Okay.
another
Okay.
time.
Okay. Nick.
Yeah, no, I
Okay,
just
Nick,
looked
deep
it
breath,
up.
man.
So
Okay, Nick, deep breath, man. We won't look it up. It's all right. Oh, Blood and Honey will be out soon. Oh, it's the Killer Winnie the Pooh movie. But, yeah. I mean, they already made a Killer Banana Splits film and a Killer Grinch film, so why not? Wait,
Soon
why
to
stop
come.
there?
Soon to come, horror Disney.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
Just wait
why
for
stop
it.
there? Why not make horror versions of all our childhoods?
I mean, Disney's only ever made one true horror film, and that was back in the early 80s. And Jeremy, no, we're not. He's talking about Peanuts, the Charlie Brown series. No.
Can't ruin that one for me.
No, you're good, Billy. Don't ruin that. I was just watching those Charlie Brown holiday specials just a few days ago.
I love my Peanuts. Leave it alone.
Yes, Sarah makes a good point. Mickey Mouse loses copyright.
I'm telling you, it's coming.
Yep. He's going to become a horror character. I will slaughter you all.
Just like, oh my God, another South Park reference. He's going to become like the Mickey Mouse from South Park.
Yep.
Just like it.
I'm going to be the voice of the horror character, horror Mickey Mouse. It's me.
Will Evil
I
Dead
know
Rise
where you live.
Will Evil Dead Rise be a sequel to the 2013 movie? I don't think so, right?
I'm not sure. I have doubts about that.
I don't think so.
I mean, the design of the demons possessed people looks similar to the remake, but I'm not sure if it's
I don't think it's connected.
I'm not sure if it is. Has anyone seen? Oh, here. Has anyone seen Megan yet? Nick, we got to set up a day to see it because I want to cover that on this podcast real soon.
Yeah,
Maybe not yet, but I will.
Yeah, because I didn't want to for two reasons, because we all haven't seen it yet, and also because I wanted to wait a little bit until more people, the audience, you guys have seen it, so that way, because
it just came out on Friday.
Because we're gonna go into detail. There's gonna be spoilers. I don't want to ruin the movie for you guys right when it just came out. I don't want to do that to you.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about possibly. I think we were going to see that next weekend because we already have something going on this weekend. So, got two FearFan podcasts.
Underworld, yes.
Tremors.
I love Tremors. Tremors. Yes. Tremors will definitely be on the list, because
Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh no, they're talking about all this stuff with Peanuts now. No.
Don't even start.
What have you done?
We got a new viewer here.
What's up? Hey,
Gail.
how's it going?
Hi, Gail.
How are you, Gail? Gail, thanks for joining. Welcome.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
Yep, we're talking about Nightmare on Elm Street, but we have shifted our focus onto what people are talking about in the comments about the upcoming Evil Dead and the horror.
That happens a lot. It's typical of we get off topic sometimes. It's like with any podcast for the most part.
Pretty much.
Oh, Jeremy, Charlie Brown is a killer. It's a surefire hits.
Oh Jesus, yeah, but
the Red Baron.
Oh yeah, but oh man, I gotta say, I think one of the biggest challenges for Robert Englund when he played Freddy was just the makeup. Sitting in a chair while they apply all that burn scars on his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like watching when they do those videos where they show what the actor had to go through for the process of, all the special effects for the role. That's a lot. Hours.
Oh yeah. When you look at people like Jim, when you look at actors like Jim Carrey when he played the Grinch, he had that makeup that had to take hours to apply, and for him to completely act and become one with the makeup is just phenomenal. And another example, what was her name? Angelica Houston, when she played the Grand High Witch, the unmasking scene at the witches' meeting, that makeup was amazing. That had taken probably how long do you think? Probably 5 or 6 hours to apply.
At least,
at the very least. It's just amazing.
Sorry, no, I was just going to say what he said about the makeup.
Too realistic. A lot of people don't know that about me, but I spent a month in the burn unit when I was 5 because I had a burn accident as well. So mine wasn't as bad. And And technically speaking, thank God for this, but the hot water fell on top of my head,
Oh,
out of hot boiling water. So I should be Freddy, but for somehow the grace of God and just like the torture that I went through for them to scrub it, the skin off, I only scarred on my arm. So a lot of people aren't always aware of that because that's something I can cover up. But I can only imagine, like, had they not fixed my face in a way, it's still me, but it's just my skin is very thin compared to like the normal human being because they had to do like a scraping thing, like take off all the burnt skin. And I probably should have ended up looking like Freddy a lot, but I did see a lot of patients with some really horrific burns. And so I was just thankful that mine wasn't that extreme.
Yeah,
well,
I've seen how.
lucky, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's very realistic.
That's for sure. I've seen burn survivors. I've seen how bad it can get. So I hear you. Oh, here, Greg.
Oh, wait a minute.
We need to start wrapping up soon.
We probably will have to wrap up soon, Don, because I think Greg's doing a show tonight.
Oh, he is.
Let me just see right now. Hang on.
I think it has been an hour and a half, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'm checking right now. I just got the link. I just got a link from him.
Yeah, it's 8. Okay. We'll wrap up.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap this up.
Unfortunately, guys, we're probably gonna have to wrap this up.
Yep. So
sorry.
Yeah.
Just very quickly, because like I said, like I always want to make these.
Let's keep this brief.
Yeah,
right,
I'm gonna keep. I am gonna be keeping it short this time.
Yes, brief.
Unfortunately,
I'm gonna answer one more question. Wait. Let me answer one more question. Hang on. Don, will you do more request reactions? Yeah, I just haven't been getting a lot of requests lately, but I do welcome them, Billy. Yeah, feel free to comment anytime on the channel. I'll get to them. Yeah, because I'm trying to fulfill everybody's requests, but it's just I'm just having a hard time balancing, my work, this, and and also a lot of family events. So it's been tough lately, but I'll get to them. No worries. So
and very quickly, Jeremy. Yeah, we'll do a part 2 eventually. So for this week, unfortunately, because of the accident we had here, I still just don't have time to do a Nick Files episode. So it will have to be one final week before I can really get the show back up. This Thursday, we bring back Criminals and Villains with me, Lois, and Rosie. Although I think we're changing the name to a cooler name, actually. I don't know who we're going to be talking about. I think she left it up to me or Rosie, but it'll be something interesting for later that night on Supernatural Talk. Jeremy, remind me, do we have anybody over on for Thursday night, or is it open mic? And while I'm waiting for that answer,
he does.
I think, I can't remember who it was. Like, again, the accident that we had last night, it kind of it's an open night. Okay, so there is nobody this Thursday night. And then also, Frighteners started again last week, but I wasn't able to join. But I'll also be back on the Frighteners this Friday. So, and then, of course, like I said, Don and I will be working on a video that I'm going to. Oh, and Don, reminder too. Friday night, we're also supposed to be on Emily's show to talk about the Girl Scout murders, so the 70s that supposedly inspired the Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and we're our first. I'm just gonna say this now, guys. She's really like expanded her show. She said she's actually nervous because there's supposed to be like, it's not just gonna be video, it's gonna be radio too. We're supposed to have a lot of listeners, and the cool part, Don, we are the very first guests for this new transition that she's made for the show. So there might be a lot of people listening to us. So Emily just said though, she is nervous, but be ready. This is gonna be a big night for us.
All right, nice.
It's exciting.
Yep. So if there's nothing else, I think we're gonna wrap up this episode of the podcast here because I know Greg is about to come on in a sec. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching, and I'm thinking, I think next week let's go over part 2 because I'm having fun talking about Freddy Krueger, and so
awesome.
we're getting so much. We're getting so much positivity in the comments about it. So everybody tune in next week. We'll go start looking to part 2, Freddy's Revenge. So thank you so much for joining. See you guys next Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, everyone.